Yeah, what's up, yo? What's going on? Barbara, all about me, powder. Let everybody know I'm live. They got you live again? What happened? Uh, for how long? Add me in the live. Who the hell you talking to? What's your name on IG? Darvin Osiris. But I'm on TikTok live to the 11th. Wow, that's like a week. That's over a week, actually. That's crazy. And we can't go live until the for over a week. Or is that? No, that is a week. Never mind. Never mind. That is a week. So, all right, cool. My name is Darvin Osiris on TikTok. Darvin Osiris. Ah, some YTs came. Yeah. Wow, they got you clipped. Wow. Let's get the likes up to 1,000, y'all. Let's get the likes up to 1,000. Yeah, the Africans that sold them. Who? So who? What's up, Venus? What's up, Venus? Who's up? Two black. All right, let's see.
How you doing?
I'm good. You?
Pretty good. So you say, can you prove that slave trade? Of course you can.
All right. How do you prove that?
Well, it's weird you said that because last night my wife and I was discussing the same topic, and one way you can prove this is quite simple. My dad was born in 1845, right? And I called him and I was speaking with him last night, and I asked him, I said, "What did your birth certificate say?" For the ethnicity, the race. And he
So
said
sorry.
it said colored. And the reason why it said colored is because back then they had some of what they called the Racial Integrity Act, where they changed American Indian from colored to Negro, from Negro to from black to African American. It's all the same people, all the same. So if you reason why it said colored integrity act where they changed American Indian from colored to no one else in history was called Negro or colored but so-called black people, the so-called ex-slaves. You can even go to people that say that they are American Indian and all that. You ask them what their grandmother birth certificate say. Their grandmother birth certificate gonna say either white. Matter of fact, it's gonna say white. It's not even gonna say colored. Colored was the only people that were so-called ex-slaves that were so-called Black Americans. That's how you can tell. Look at your grandmother, or look at your grandmother.
You
I
know,
would say look at
Indians
your
were
grandmother birth
classified as
certificate.
Negro and colored too, right?
Huh?
You know, Indians were classified as Negro and colored too, right?
That's what they say now, but it's not
No,
on
it's not.
paper. No,
Yes, it
listen,
is on pay. Hold on one
no
second.
sir.
Just 1 second. 1 second. I can show you better than I can tell you.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So 1 second.
Now listen,
Uh,
hear me out.
no,
When,
no. I'm about to
let me
show the
tell you
source.
something.
One
Let me
second.
tell you
One
something.
sec, sir. 1 second. Calm down.
When you pull it up,
Calm down. Calm down. Let me pull it up. Like, stop talking. No, stop talking, dude. No,
when,
no. I'm about to
let me
show the
tell you
source.
something.
One
Let me
second.
tell you
One
something.
sec. Sir. This is the chief of the Chickahominy right here. right? Chief of the Chickahominy. 1860. We're gonna go to the 1860 census, right? Hold on, I gotta sign in. The family search always does that shit, right? Mulatto, 1860, he's classified as mulatto. 1870, boom, he's classified as mulatto again, right? 1880, he's classified as mulatto, right here, right? 1900, he's classified as black, boom. 1910, they finally got it right.
You want to know why?
He's classified as Indian. Hold on, sir. Like, I'm not done. Can you let me finish what I'm saying? God damn. Why do y'all act like y'all? Hold on 1 second. Why do y'all act like y'all know everything, right?
I do know everything.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
obviously, you don't. All right, we're gonna go to the Thomasine Jordan Act. Y'all be too old. Y'all be too old. Hold on. Shut the fuck up. Get off my stage. Like, y'all be too old to be acting like how y'all act, right? Thomasine E. Jordan Act right here, Federal Recognition Act. We're gonna go to section 404, Title 4, which goes in section 404, right? We're gonna go to section 57. It says the vital, this is Virginia Statistics Bureau, classify all non-reservation Indians as Negro. And it failed to see why the Rappahannock would be make an exception for the Rappahannock. So how were non-reservation Indians being classified as Negro?
Can I talk now? Can I speak now? Okay, first of all, what you did was you went back to the 1800s, correct? I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Yeah, 1800s. Right?
So you went from the 1800s. Now, one thing you got to realize.
I can go back further. I can go back further too. This shit life.
Let me finish.
Go ahead then.
One thing you got to realize the fact that when you went from the 1800s, you said the classification was what now? Because it wasn't colored. What was the classification?
Black.
Okay, and then before it was black, it was what?
Okay, and then before it was black, it was what? Colored and Negro. Colored and Negro.
Man. When you pull that up and say nothing about black and no color.
Hold on, you gotta echo. Somebody got echo. Colored and Negro, bro. It was mulatto. His classification was mulatto. What does mulatto mean?
I didn't ask you that.
His classification was mulatto before it was black.
I'm talking about specifics.
The reason black, Negro, and colored.
Sir, I'll let you talk. Now let me talk. Come on, let's respect each other. I understand it's your panel, but come on.
No, you kept cutting me off while I was talking. No, I can cut you off now, sir. It's fair game, right?
So, but why you want to cut somebody if I thought we was on here to learn?
You cut. Did you not cut me off first, sir?
One time.
You acting like a grown ass child. Like, relax.
One time. I cut you off, sir. Come on now. One time.
Can you prove you source out? Show a source now. Since I showed a source, you show a source. How about that?
One time.
Show a source.
Can I please talk?
Show a source.
I will, but can I talk?
Show a source. Then you can talk.
Can I talk?
Show a source, then you can talk.
What source you want me to show, sir?
Show a source that Indians weren't reclassified as Negro and colored.
I just said that a minute ago.
So so I thought only Africans, only ex-slaves could be classified.
Listen, here's the confusion part.
Post is being immature. I got a grown-ass child that's about 50 on my panel.
Sir, here's the confusing part. What makes you think you're African? That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. What makes you think you're African?
Nick, are you fucking slow? Who the fuck said anything about being that? You're the one that brought up Africans and ex-slaves. Like,
sir, you said that.
No, the fuck I didn't. Oh my gosh! Like, get this babbling, like old and babbling. Get the fuck off my stage, dude. Yeah, like how the fuck? He said, "Yeah, I can." Like he came up here and answered, "Yeah, I can prove that I'm a descendant of the slave trade." They got to saying, "Oh, if you look at color, that means they were ex-slaves and they came from the slave trade." Like, bro, stop thinking I'm fucking stupid. Y'all confuse y'all goddamn selves trying to make a point. Think y'all know everything. Y'all confuse your goddamn selves. Can't change nothing. Go ahead. Who is
What's going
this?
on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, Rudy?
I ain't had no debate or nothing like that. I just had a question. Like, I'm trying to figure out what your motive is. Like, are you uh foundational Black American? Do you claim American Indian? Like, what do you say for yourself? And like,
Check my page.
okay,
If you why don't y'all investigate before y'all come on my panel?
you know what I'm saying. I just see you on the live. You know what I'm saying. I ain't really
If this your first time coming across me, then get familiar. Like get familiar then.
okay. And I don't mean no disrespect, but I just want to hear what you had. You know what I'm saying, like where you stand, because I'm leaning to more towards of like foundational Black American, if that means anything, you know, Sulani type or Cherokee, because my family lineage goes back to the Trail of Tears. So as we know what that was, learning that in history
What's
school,
up, Bree?
that was Native Americans to my knowledge, to my understanding. You know what
What
I mean?
Cherokee are Native Americans or American Indian?
American Indian, you know, what I mean, interchangeably. I'm not trying to get too specific.
They're not interchangeable. No, they're not.
Indian American, American Indian.
Native American is not interchangeable with American Indian. No, it's not.
Okay.
I am an American Indian. I don't call myself FBA. Sure, I can identify with people as an ethnic group with Black American. I fuck with Solani, right? Shout out
Mhm.
to Moroccan them, right? I'm cool with Morocco on Twitter. Past Twitter, Instagram too. Yeah, me and Morocco, I know Moroccan people that created Solon.
Okay, cool. So you would say American Indian, then that should be that is that the
I don't separate the two. I don't separate that from Black American or whatever you want to call yourself.
okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Well, I appreciate you, man. That's all I wanted to know. I appreciate your time.
All right, for sure.
Okay, man.
Can I answer the prompt?
Are you an American, Nick?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Are you of what do you consider yourself?
I'm white with a little bit of Indian sprinkled in.
White with a little bit of Indian sprinkled in. Are you a product or descendant of the slave trade?
Yes, sir.
You are?
Yes, sir.
What? Okay, go ahead, explain.
So the in the state of Louisiana, back before the Civil War, they didn't discriminate on color at all. And one of the things they would do was they didn't have orphanages in Louisiana. So when a child was orphaned, it didn't matter what color they were sent to a slave auction. My
Mm,
grandmother has her great grandmother's bill of sale
wow.
from a town. It's Lake Charles, Louisiana now, but it was a slave auction house in Charleston, Louisiana at the time. And
Mm.
she was sold when she was 5 years old. And at 14, uh, my grandmother's great grandfather purchased her to marry her.
I mean, I have seen photos of slave auctions with pale people in New Orleans. What country did she come from?
She was American. She lived in Louisiana and she was orphaned, and the
Oh,
state put her in a slave auction instead of having
oh,
orphanage.
okay. Mm, that's interesting.
Yeah, they kind of screwed over everybody in Louisiana back then.
What's up, Creole girl? All righty. Who else we got? We got Winston and we got DJ. What's up, Chris?
What's good, dog?
Man, just up here chilling, man. just just seeing what the temperature is on TikTok. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he left. He just dropped that on us and dipped. Hell yeah. He's like, yeah, he told him about the bill of sale and he just dipped after. I was like, yeah, great question. Thank you. My mo-
Hey, I am gonna have to dip back in because I want to ask you and chop it up about the 1886 treaty. And is that beneficial for us that could trace our indigenous roots?
1880s. That's the one that goes back to Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Okay, 1860s. All right, for sure. Yeah, I personally I do feel like there's benefits to those that descends from the five civilized tribe for sure. Yeah, I definitely do. Cause that's what the well, Lila. I think she's not in here right now. I think she started her own live, but she talks about that. If you could chop it up, yeah, get chop it up with Lila about that. Yeah, I can host that as well. But they use the she talks about how they use the treaty with the Cherokee Nation to get folks benefits and stuff like that with the freedmen. So
Okay. Yeah. So whenever you get a chance, shoot me her page and I'll follow her on here too. But
for sure, I got you, I got you.
all right. But I dip back in. Hopefully you still up by the time I get done with this meeting I gotta do.
For sure. Nice talking to you, man.
All right, nice talking to you. Peace.
Peace. All right, we got Winston, we got DJ Black up here, and Jalen. What's up, Jalen?
Yo,
What's going on?
yeah. No, you didn't want to ask me no questions, no background questions.
You? I mean,
Yeah,
I
man,
think
I
you've
always
been
want to
here.
let my family.
I was like, I think I'm familiar with you. So, but if you want to answer the prompt, you can.
Yes, I don't know.
Oh, can you prove that your descendants? Oh no, no, my folks, no, we ain't do that. No, but we were slave raiders. And we did harbor slaves. My family at least, but but that was just one aspect of our people.
What tribe you talking about?
Yamasi.
Okay, all right, you're the son of Yamasi.
Yeah.
Mm. Hey, what's up, Jay? All right, yeah, I've heard about that. You're enrolled with the Yamasi, or
No, I just know I know from family,
okay?
passing down information.
Mm. Yeah, I come from some tribes that descend from the Yamasi and the Uchi Wale.
Oh
So
yeah, that's right.
yeah,
That's
like the
right.
Santee and the Catawba,
Yeah,
they're connected with the.
yeah, but no, my family originally from multiple spots down from down south. Originally from Savannah, Georgia,
Hmm.
and in South Carolina, and man, just all down through Florida too. So and just to actual question after answering the prompt, my first question is, who are the Gullah Geechee people for real?
I want to talk. Well, I'm not. I don't think I am. I mean, I got folks that was near the Geechee, but I don't think I'm. I might be. I might have some Geechee descent somewhere. But I don't know. I'm not sure.
Cause um when we look back, uh we had to change our names and we had to basically act like we ain't, what I'm saying. Sometimes during war we had to act like we was dead. Basically high in Big Mama house, you know what I'm saying? So what
Hmm.
I'm saying, change our name and whatnot. So I think that's where that came from. They had to kind of change up their name in order to survive. I'm not really sure why the Gullah Geechee had to branch off and stick with the African narrative, but
Right.
it was debunked before, and I don't want to get too specific into it. But if you do enough research, the Gullah Geechee is basically a fairy tale made by a bunch of white folks or white tea folks. He's basically a elementary book writer or something. He write books for elementary children, so he's just a fictional writer basically. Yeah, but that's my piece.
This is the show. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We got Mikey. We got Melanie up here. What's up?
For TikTok purposes, I gotta know, what is your favorite dinosaur? Like,
T
I'm
Rex.
not just trolling. This is actually real knowledge information I need.
The T Rex.
Good choice. Good choice. Never a bad one.
Second closest is a pterodactyl. Yours?
Oh, it's Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus. Yeah.
Good
It's,
show.
it's Ducky from Land Before Time.
True, true. Yeah, thank you, Mikey.
But I don't. Can I go?
African nose. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I'm I'm from Texas, but I live in California. Uh, I can we have our whole genealogy done all the way back to Africa,
Mm.
and we have our whole like census records and this, that, and the other, and marriage certificates. You know, uh, things that things that link us back to Africa. And then I did my DNA test, and my DNA comes from the Mali, Benin and Togo, Nigeria, Cameroon, uh, all that area.
Okay, so what part? So, what ancestor, what country did they come from in Africa when you traced it back,
Uh, uh,
genealogy wise?
it's Nigeria. It's the highest percentage I have is from Nigeria. Then the second one I have it is from Mali. Then
Oh,
after that, it's Cameroon, then Benin
no,
and Togo, the
I was
Western
talking about.
Bantu people.
Did you make a family tree?
Yeah, we have a family tree already. I like we have like books. My my two my grandmother and my great aunt, they're sisters, and they both made different they both went out and studied our genealogy through uh census and the marriage certificates and the
Uh huh.
bill of sales for slavery, and and I'm very content with who I am, and where I come from. The our first person that came over from Africa was named Gaines Medlock. Well, that's the name that they gave him. And he was born in 1775, I think.
Uh huh.
And his daughter married a preacher's daughter, a preacher's son, and named Hiram Milton. And basically, well, one of my ancestors is named after Davy Crockett. His name is David Crockett Medlock. And this is what started our family.
David Crockett Medlock. What? So
Yeah,
what?
that's
So
yeah. He
what
was named
country did that person?
huh?
Yeah. What country did that person come from on the bill of sale?
Uh, it didn't say which country because there wasn't. I don't think that there was actual Nigeria back then.
It didn't give an ethnic group
No,
or
the ethnic
anything.
group is no the ethnic group is Western. It's just the Western slave trade from the Ivory Coast.
So they came from Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the things that like we still have the quilts that they made in the 1800s. We still have those quilts, and we have different artifacts from the 1800s, like stoves, trunks from Prairie View A&M, things
So
like
they
that.
okay. So they got dropped off in what state were they in? Was this in?
They started in Alabama. They started in Alabama, and then they moved from Alabama to Texas.
We're Western travelers and Native Americans, so I guess I'm good. I don't know who you are doing.
Uh,
Uh-uh. Hi, what's up, Miss Nat? Nerdy Nat.
Okay, so my great grandfather was from Ireland, and my
Mm,
great grandmother was from Jamaica. My grandmother was a princess in Jamaica. My granddaddy bought my grandmother and brought her over to Americas, and they are from Chicago.
mm.
So I learned that when I talked to my great uncle, and growing up, my grandmother, I mean, she I don't know if she was Irish, I don't know if she was Creole, I don't know what she was, but my grandmother looked as white as they come. And
Mhm.
she was in Louisiana, and we used to call her grandma, but she would tell us when we went out in the streets that we could not call her grandma because they could hang her. But we were little brown children with reddish brown hair going
What's up,
out.
Groove?
Now, my dad is from Mexico. So I got a very high mixture of everything because my mom met my dad while going to Mexico. And my dad, come to find out, my dad had a wife in Mexico. And I ended up meeting my sister in North Carolina, who I found out I had seven other siblings in Mexico. So I'm
Wow.
a mixture. So I'm a mixture of a little bit of everything. But I mean, I guess I mean, my grandfather brought my grandmother. I know my grandmother was a slave, but my grandfather brought my grandmother.
Well, that's interesting. All right, Winston, you wanted to go? I called you earlier. You ain't say nothing.
After Winston, I would like to go.
Let's see if he's there.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. You got
Hey,
echo.
how you doing, Darvin?
You
Hey,
got echo.
I'm sorry, I'm at work. I'll be real fast. I sent you a message on Instagram. I'm trying to get you to do my genealogy for me. Is that possible?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just
So
send me. Hold
I
on one
think
second. Just send me. Hold on one second. One second. Just send me the information of your folks on. Just send me the information of your folks on Instagram.
Do I need to?
Instagram.
Yeah, cause I sent you a Instagram message on like a business chat, so like it should still be there. I don't know if you checked it or not, but yeah, and on TikTok too. So that's me,
All right,
Winston
I'll
West.
check my.
Just message
Oh
me
yeah,
back.
I'll check my. I got you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I got you. So, all right, cool. Go ahead, Melanie.
First of all, hello everyone. I have a question specifically for Jalen because this is when I hopped on because Geechee community, and I've heard people say that half the Gullah Geechee is actually Native American. I've heard that half of the community things don't, all the other stuff, but to say that, like, I've never heard anyone say that it was made up completely. I would like, if you don't mind, can you go into detail and explain that? Because I've never heard that.
Yeah, I'm not researched enough, but there's three prominent figures that came to make up the. No, you can look it up right now. Just look up who's the founder of the Gullah Geechee, and it'll be a white man. And the only reason why he coined Gullah Geechee, or not Gullah Geechee, but the reason why he coined the Gullah Geechee from Africa is because some of the coastal tribes, the way that they sang and the way that they and the way that they danced, he said, oh, it reminded him from the folks inside of Africa. And then he died, and then he just picked it
Unalive.
up and said, "Oh yeah, they're from Africa." Yeah. So I mean, it's just a bunch of like, oh,
So
one dude died, one dude
because
picked it up, and
because because a YT colonizer described it and compared it to an African colony, then the culture itself is not a culture.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
But you
I'm
can,
confused simply because I don't know. I'm struggling to find the reasoning within that because YT men and women have described things for centuries we know are fact. Like that doesn't like YT people have described gravity for centuries and we know that's fact. YT people have compared science and medicine and we know that's fact. So why when they compare a group of people is that not fact?
all right, because let me tell you, the original person that was on the research, he never came up with a conclusion because it wasn't never no connection in the first
Okay,
place.
so because
So
he
to make
couldn't
a
come up with the
connection,
conclusion, because mind you, this is just how like, and I'm a scientific person and research-based
okay, well
person.
you can look it
So
up.
because no one found a conclusion, the connection doesn't exist. Mind you, there was no conclusion for why the Black Plague was spreading throughout Europe until someone actually believed the person who understood the
Come up
concept
here,
of
Sam.
bacteria.
It was just a dance and a song. You can compare all of us to African American or Africans, and not the misnomer African American, but actual African American. You can actually do that. You can make the connection. I mean,
And mind you, there are some
come on now, we
connections
look just like
that are
each other. I mean, you
very
can do
little
that from it's
detail.
just
But
do
then
it.
you can go to connections such, for example, the Gullah Geechee language by a Black, linguist was determined to be a language and a fundamental, vernacular of English by a Black linguist in the 70s. He connected that because of the English base and the French and the French people who took over the Carolinas during colonization, but also the Cairo language that's on the west coast of Africa, where there are grammatic and spelling similarities. Not to mention the sweetgrass baskets made in the Carolinas, which have the same stitching and similar stitching patterns and purposes as those of the Cairo tribe in in the coast of West Africa. The Cairo-speaking people in West Africa. You have similar things as jollof rice and red rice. When we talk about food, that, mind you, culturally, red rice is not something that is culturally known across the African American diaspora. That is something that is culturally specific to the East Coast, to the Low Country area, which could span all the way from North Carolina all the way down to Florida. So,
Okay, can I ask you a question?
yeah,
In Texas.
even in Texas, yeah.
Um, what country in Africa did your folks come from after coming from over here?
So my
If you
my great uncle is actually in the process of completing our family tree and genealogy now, because he was one of the relatives that actually got to hear. Excuse me, Nigeria, Ghana. We have a few family members who are from the all the different places in the Ivory Coast. So you have Senegambia, you have oh my goodness. Forgive me, my family is huge. It's like 100+ people. So I'm trying to do all like combine them all together. But Ghana,
Well,
Senegambia, Sierra
when was it
Leone,
first
Nigeria,
documented in Africa
Niger.
that these dishes were noticed, that these food cultures were noticed in Africa? When is the first documentation of that? Because it seems to me that these dishes were taken to Africa instead of the reverse.
So I will always say this: to say something is taken from someplace and put someplace else, as if there have not been variations in human. And for example, let me explain it better than this, because I understand the question you're asking. It behooves me that, for example, when you have certain foods and certain varieties of foods, for example, the tomatoes that were native to North America that you can find in prehistoric carbon dating back thousands of years before people migrated to the continent, before people, colonized the continent, before the Native Americans and those who prescribed to Native American ideology. You find proof of different types of plants of the same family genus across all continents. For example, there's a difference between Egyptian cotton and Carolina cotton because the cotton was two different places at one time. Genetically speaking, it's both cotton. However, there's differences in how the plant grows, how it matures, and how it can be harvested to a certain degree. It's the
We know
same
that
thing
it's
with
related to
food.
the Americas
When you
okay,
because
have
of
people
the
taken from
Hold
the
have you
West
on,
done your
one
Coast,
mic,
genealogy?
one mic, y'all. Come on.
when you have people taken from the West Coast and they're used to cooking meals a certain way with certain proteins and certain materials and a certain amount of cook time, and they're going to a different area, whether it's they moved voluntarily or they moved because of force. Human nature is to use what is around you to imitate what you know. We all do that. We go to a different grocery store we've never been before that doesn't have the same materials and same information and same ingredients, same location. We adapt. We figure out what we have in that area that we know and what can we use to supplement things that we don't have.
Yeah, I understand all of that, but what I'm trying to figure out is how were they cooking this red rice, and where there's no documentation of these recipes
Red
being
rice
performed
is
in
not a
Africa
cultural. Red
before it
rice.
What's
was
up, Cherry?
before
Red
it was
rice is not a cultural meal of West Coast Africa. Jollof
What's
rice
going
is.
on?
right.
Do
But
you
what
under?
you're but
And
what
this is
you're
just a
but
clarification to make sure
but
we're on the same page.
you're attempting to assimilate the two of them, though. You're attempting to say that
Ma'am,
we
ma'am,
have red rice
ma'am,
in America and
ma'am,
variations of that because it came from Africa. So that's
ma'am.
why I'm asking the question. It
I'm
begs
trying
the
to answer
question.
it. I'm trying to answer it. If you don't
Okay.
mind, thanks. So jollof rice and red rice are both cooked in very similar ways. Mind you, this is why I say it like this. I don't find how it's reasonable to say that two groups of people, let's say we agree that all black people were most black people in the United States did not come from Africa, right? How have
Most of
two
them did not.
social groups of people
Oh,
who have never met, who have never shared cultural similarities, who have never shared political ties, have never shared trading.
You have to add water to rice. You can't eat it raw, ma'am. That's not some
You're not.
Sir, I didn't say
similarities.
anything
Come on
about
now.
eating rice
so
raw.
so
How
are
can
you
you eat it?
one second, y'all? 1 second. So you're saying we never black people or Africans, right? Never had any contact with Indians.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's literally the exact
That's
opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying I find it hard to understand. I find it hard for this to make sense. That, for example, I'm talking about African people in the United
Kula
States,
Masiak.
African Americans, black people, whatever you want to call them, right? That group compared to those in Africa. When you look at what African Americans, black people do in the United States, culturally speaking, if they were have to never have met anybody in Africa at all, how come dances are not similar to Native Americans?
Yes, they
How
are.
come
We
food is
have
not
similar
similar to Native Americans?
Yes, we are. We are more footwork
It's not.
based
It's
people.
not. It's
1
not
second.
similar to
Not
Africans
it,
neither.
I was about to say.
So, for
it's
example,
similar to the Indian. Yes, it is. You're talking to someone that's Powhatan. A lot of our culture, we have a lot of Powhatan culture remnants in our culture.
sir, I'm telling you, mind you, I'm not telling you about yourself. I'm telling you what I know.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you that
And I
someone.
don't.
How many
I don't.
Indian how many Indian tribes can you name?
I don't
East
have.
of this.
I'm
Hold on,
telling you
one
about
sec,
me, sir.
one sec, one sec. I don't. You're trying to blanket us. Now I'm telling you about us, right?
But I'm not
How
trying to
many?
tell you about you.
Hold on, 1 second. Now I'm talking now, right? So with that being said, are you talking about Gullah Geechee culture or are you talking about Black American culture? Huh?
Trying to clarify specifically, I'm talking about Gullah Geechee culture. That's
All
why
right
I came up
then.
here.
All right then.
That's
Cool.
what I was trying to say, sir. Thank you. Because I can't speak for everybody else. I'm talking about Gullah Geechee culture. Because as I said specifically, when I was talking about how you make red rice by cooking in a specific manner, because red rice is not culturally expansive to the entire African American diaspora.
You boil it in water.
So y'all ain't got no Indian culture in Gullah Geechee. Hold on.
I'm telling sir,
y'all ain't got no Indian culture. Okay, so what
sir,
about hold on, what about
sir,
Queen Quet? Hold on, one
sir.
second. Why is Queen Quet, right? No, because
Sir,
why y'all hold on,
excuse
one second. Stop cutting me off. Why is Queen Quet? Why does the Gullah Geechee Queen Quet celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day? If y'all ain't got that in y'all culture, why did Queen Quet say that the culture of the Gullah Geechee is indigenous to the islands?
Can I say this and step down, please?
No.
You ain't got to step
answer my
down.
question. No,
she came with the fire at me, and now
No,
she's
I
getting
was
fired
genuine.
down her
Listen,
back, and now she want to run.
I'm genuinely
1
asking
second.
to understand what Jalen was saying, and now you're telling. Now once again, mind you, I came up here with the intention to understand. I didn't come up here with the intention to speak on things I don't know. I don't know nothing about Native Americans. I'm asking Jalen about Gullah Geechee.
If you don't know anything about Native
And I
Americans,
just told you what your queen. Hold on. 1 second. I didn't tell you what your queen said. One second. I just told you about what Queen Quet said. The Queen Quet of the Gullah Geechee. Why did she say that? Yeah, you don't know nothing about Native Americans, but why?
I didn't hear what you said.
Hold on. Why does Queen
Quet
and the Gullah Geechee celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day?
Because culturally speaking, mind you, this is what I was taught. If I'm ignorant, because I know I can tell by how I'm being reacted to,
Darvin is single for
very
sure.
ignorantly bold people. If I don't know something, I don't know. That's what educated people do. So let me explain myself. Thanks. From what I was taught about my Gullah Geechee community, there's a strong social connection between the Native Americans who were there and the African American people who were brought during chattel slavery. In talking about trade, talking about culturalism with food, talking about spirituality and everything. I'm not saying that the people did not interact with each other. What I'm saying is they were two different ethnic groups as far as I was taught.
Well, apparently that's not what Queen Quet says, right?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Educate me. That's fine. I don't understand where the attitude is coming from. Like I want to be a dumb. Like I want to be a
Hold on,
dumbass.
one second.
I have the message from Queen Quet saying that we're Africans.
Hold on. I'm about to pull it up. She done said out her own goddamn mouth that y'all got Wasama, y'all got Seminole, y'all got Muskogee, y'all got Cherokee and India. Like, what are we talking about? Like, do y'all don't even study who y'all be talking about?
Like, are you up here to like?
Hold on, one second.
Like, which one is it?
Like, can y'all shut? Hold on, 1 second. Can y'all shut the fuck up for a second? How about that? How about shutting the fuck up?
Like you sound like you're here just to make people upset.
Stop acting musty, right? Stop acting musty before I send you down. It reminds you how musty you are. How about that? So this is our world. No. How about that? I'm not going off your whim then. You should have knew this shit already. How about that? Trying to, like, you came up here being condescending. Like, I don't have to show you no respect. Fuck you. Oh, y'all aren't.
Yeah,
Hold on, no. Y'all ain't as important as y'all think y'all are. Stop coming off your mic. Goodbye. I'm gonna educate the people that's in the live stream. Sound like Earth and shit, but yeah, World Indigenous Peoples Day 2020 in the Gullah Geechee. Yeah. Well, now you can get your understanding from the audience. August 9th commemorates the National Days of Indigenous People. Natural section of Indigenous people, the Gullah Geechee. It's actually a whole radio session, as the Gullah Geechee diaspora created some of their people known as the Seminole in Muskogee. Who are the Muskogee? And what does that sound like? Muskogee. Thank you. They had numerous reunions to celebrate the island, this and that. Hold on. She has a whole radio section. I watched it. This is from 2020, like 5 years ago. She actually even talked about. She shouted out the Seminole. She shouted out the Muskogee, the Yamasi, because she even has pictures with Chief Sekou of the Yamasi.
Sekou.
So this thing, they say they celebrate both African and indigenous heritage. She said that out her own mouth, and that the culture of the Gullah Geechee comes from the islands. So yeah, that's what. I'm gonna land there. I know Sam has something to say. But go ahead, Sam. Keep me waiting for a minute.
Appreciate you. No, you should have just listened to some of the facts. I'm gonna just go through a couple of things. As people are already saying down there, the area was known as Wale, and it was by the Ogeechee. The Ogeechee River is a Muskogean word that means river of the Uchis. River of the Uchis. So really, it was the Uchi Indians speaking Wale, as well as other Yamasi and Seminole and other people in this area. Some of them spoke Wale, some of them spoke other things. The Gullah part comes from the YT, like Jalen was saying. When you actually go to look in the newspapers, now I got tons of these, but you'll notice that a lot of the use of Gullah is used in 1800s by itself. You don't get Gullah and Geechee used together until the 1940s when they try to play these tricks on y'all. But prior to then, in the 1800s, for almost 100 plus years, they were calling you names. They would call you a Gullah, saying you came from Angola, and actually made fun of the way you talk. Here's the way they made fun of you talk. Who been tell Gullah Sam for you coming here yesterday? But they actually made, not only did they put it in the newspapers, they actually made recording in the Library of Congress with a white T dude making fun of the way Gullah people talk. Notice you don't see Geechee. Now, I'm going to say this. You will see Geechee in the newspaper by itself. Let me see if I can find it. You'll see Geechee in the 1800s by itself, but you'll never see it with Gullah. You don't see the two used together until the 1940s. I'm not going to take a ton of time, so I'm going to just leave it there. But once they put it together, then they start tricking y'all thinking that Gullah is a language and it was really them making fun of y'all. But Geechee is what people are. They're from the Ogeechee. That's the indigenous part. The Gullah part supposedly is the African part, and that's the lie, to be honest with you. But you can believe that lie if you want to.
And there's some that say Gullah is in the fucking Bible. So, because I talked to a Gullah Geechee priestess woman before, she said she was a goddamn Hebrew. So, are they African? Are they Hebrew? You know, they talk about different shit. But we got TB on here. Well, no, that's Kappa. What's up?
What's happening with you? See,
what's going on?
Is when people come around kicking Gullah Geechee culture, cuz, but they don't know that Gullah Geechee culture go from the Chesapeake Bay all the way around to the bottom of Alabama and Mississippi, really, right? But they don't know about the spiritual conquest of the Spanish and the French in the Americas. So let me show you how St. Helene Island used to be the capital of La Florida. I don't think they heard me, because St. Helena Island was the capital of Florida, and there's not an African story in there. What's the name of these people? Orista, Guale, Escamacu, tribes. You want to know why these people got these names? Because these were the people traveling up and down the Gullah Geechee corridor amongst the other tribes. So where did Thanksgiving really happen at? Savannah, Georgia. Back in the 1500s, green corn, grits, that's Southern food. Oh, yeah, no, they forgot that we eat corn down here, right? So when these people that Gullah Geechee, right, don't know the names of the ancient people and how the Guale and Yamasee have always been in that land, and nobody can show you an African ancestor, they go to show you that something is wrong. Because these people whooped the French, they whooped the Spanish, and they kept their land. And if you go to the islands today, who you see around there in the islands? Them. You see them. The same people that you can read right now whoop the Spanish and the French. That's who you see in the islands. Yep. Ain't no African story in there.
Yeah, one second. I'm about to pull this thing up, this video up. Let me yeah,
I appreciate you for letting me up.
For sure. Yeah, I'm about to show the video of Queen Quet talking. Hold on. Let me I'm at to unmute this, and then I'm about to show the video of Queen Quet talking. Hold on. Let me I'm at to unmute this.
My grandmother is the one from Doctor, and so it made it more clear why she looked like she looked, why she did some of the stuff she did, why she could make pottery and do all kind of stuff. Growing up, my aunts and my sister, and they were much older than me, and all of them never understood how come she knew that stuff. But now when I said if she knew it, because she was able to, her mother's mother and all them, they were Indian people, and they married the Gullah Geechee. So that's a home with Black and Indigenous American, although you may not look at all the family, you just say, oh, they're Black, they're Gullah Geechee. But we also have Indigenous ancestry. So that, of course, led to me wanting to know my grandmother.
So yeah, basically what she was saying is that he basically saying that her grandma was were Indians. She basically said her grandmother was Indian, and that Gullah Geechee people are a mix of Indians and Africans, basically. If you didn't catch all that. It's on my Twitter if you want to look at it.
Yeah, that's the story they've been trying to push, and that's why I don't see how the people who are so-called Gullah Geechee today, how come they don't even know that basic fact that at least that's the whole point of the fake tribe. No, what fake? The tribe is to pair them together with the Africans, saying that they mix with Africans and indigenous in their group, but technically most of them, if not all of them, are indigenous. Maybe there's a few Angolans in there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the Gullah and the Geechee are two different Fox. They're two different groups of people. I'm understanding that. I'm aware of that. I'm just saying this is what Queen Quet and her Gullah for her Queen Quet and Gullah Geechee folk. You know, because Queen Quet has said this shit on multiple times. They're a mix of Africans and Indians. That's what Queen Quet said for her people, right? But you know, you got Gullah Geechee that say, "Oh, we're only Africans," blah blah blah, shit in that, like shit like that. You're not African over here. You're not
Yeah, that's
I ain't
crazy.
telling. Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, yeah, that's crazy. It's like they're changing the story themselves in their head to just be an African slave trade thing when that's not literally not what the Gullah Geechee lady Queen Quit and them is saying.
Geechees are honestly more indigenous preserved tongue. Bet you won't check that DNA before. Man, Hezekiah, you don't get your, you don't even know.
Oh, peace, peace, peace.
What's up, Mumu?
What's up, family? Now I have a question. Do y'all know any African in Africa call themselves Gullah Geechee?
Fuck no.
No, I haven't either.
Absolutely not. Even people from Angola don't call themselves Gullah, so the whole thing is just crazy.
Right, right. So my thing is this. In my shoot, people don't even wash their chicken. People don't even wash their meat. That's how of an issue I have. You know how many people that I seen on Instagram and Facebook don't wash their meat and they coming from that region? Straight raw.
Couldn't facts, dog. You couldn't can't be a benya if you're not indigenous. Like, what does benya mean? Like, you're benya. There's no difference between the YTs and native pretenders claim they're not. What's I'm just reading. I'm just came back. I had to make some bets real quick. We about to run this money up. You feel me?
Oh, what game playing tonight?
The Warriors. You got the Warriors and the Rockets.
Oh shoot. I'm
Tell
gonna
me,
get my money in too. Hold on.
you are.
Yeah, I already know who's gonna win that.
Look up Chief Joseph. Who is Austin? Come up here, Austin. You're Ojibwe and Lenape.
Mm-hmm.
Come up here, Austin.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
said it's
I was saying this like so I really want to know for my people that claiming to be a descendant of the slave trade, where is the proof of these ships making pass through the Atlantic Ocean? Because last time I checked, they only went to the Caribbeans and they had to go down south and then go underneath South Africa to go back over to Europe. So go through the Pacific to go up because the Atlantic Ocean is not capable of holding a wooden ship throughout the whole time of getting to another landmass. So they had no choice to be on the eastern coast of the shore, of where they was at. So I'm trying to figure out where is these documents of these people being descendants of these slaves.
Well, Abubakari and his cousin, I believe, Abu Bakr, they made the voyage already too, and mixed in with the natives here. That's probably where the Gullah Geechee get their African story from. Um, but we always been here. Even if you were mixed with a little African, we always been here.
So I have a question. Was these people like Moors coming here or something like that? Because
They were African. They were
no,
African.
the
I'm not sure
Moors
they
were
identify as
African.
Moors, but they were African.
Yeah, so even so understanding the Moors, right, in their story, how they was ruling their they was like the rulers of the world at that point, right?
These were good men. These were Mansa Musa's cousins. The most richest, one of the most richest Africans.
Oh, so y'all
Um,
going to off the Massa Musa story.
I'm not. I'm just speculating off what the Gullah Geechee probably got the African from. I'm not sure.
Oh, so you're not 100% sure. So you're going based off assumption of these people.
Yes,
There's
but
Africans. There's Africans that came to South Carolina. Like there's
right. That's what I'm telling her that they did make that voyage already. It's not impossible.
But
It's
see,
just
nobody was calling themselves African, or that's a whole new term that they was using for today's time. I need to
Yeah,
know
I
an
know.
actual group of people because
I know
these
some.
people that was coming into America was just not Africans.
There's some. There was some. Like so, I know someone at Bill of Sale that had a Nubian ancestor in South Carolina. Like it's possible. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
so,
not
like
saying it's not possible for a person to have African lineage, but we're talking about a small group of people that could have that out of a millions or billions of niggas in America, right? Because
Do you know
majority. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, love.
Oh, um, just to go back to what I said about Abu Bakari and Abu Bakr, they was here in times of quote unquote prehistoric times. So they were here before history as we know it began. So I'm saying we've been mixed in. We've been. I mean, like, listen, we've been had the Lee family from China on our on a reservation
what's up,
help us build
naturalist?
the roadways. So I'm
And I
saying,
want to.
I just because let me tell you this, right? Because me and my people was talking about this earlier today. How come it's more Asian people in America than Africans?
yeah, we've been had treaties with the Chinese, and the Chinese have been very loyal with their treaties. They
Not
honored
just
them
the
all.
Chinese, babes. You got more than just Chinese people coming to America.
Yeah,
I can only tell you about the
Asians, and
Chinese.
Filipinos, and all them. They've been coming over here since since the Spaniards been coming here since the 1500s, if not
Right,
before.
right.
Yeah.
I feel we have more Asian lineage than African than anything. Why I say that? Because if you look at the Fijians, if you look at majority of the Samoans in them, right, the Pacific Ocean area, island area aligning with for the southern Eastern Asia, right, the Negritos that live in those areas, I say that we have more of a similar phenotype than them people than what we have in Africa. Point blank.
Yeah.
Because you're
Well,
talking about the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean is the ocean where you can easily travel through, right? There ain't so much high strong winds. It's not so much of like a rush in the waters and stuff like that because people are not gonna go in the waters when the water in the ocean is crazy, right? I think that go for anybody that's traveling in the sea, basically. So if you compare how many Asians came to America than Africans, you'll see how a lot of black people will have more of an Asian mix than an African mix. I'll say they have more than a European and Asian mix than an African mix.
I mean, us and Africans look so much alike. I mean, it's so hard to tell.
Well, that's because y'all was mixing it with our people.
I'm not African, baby.
Y'all was
I'm not
effing our
African.
people. What? You can't only
I'm
look
not
like us,
Wait,
baby. You
hold
need
on.
to
Hold
F
on.
our
I think you
people.
might have got confused. I'm not African.
You're not African?
No,
You're American?
I'm not even American. I wouldn't say American. Masi, another tribe, a tribe of our tribes.
Oh, so you're part of a tribe in America.
That's right.
Oh, so I'm trying to understand where
Excuse
does
me.
African come from if you're part of a tribe in America.
I say the question again.
I said I'm trying to figure out how you part of American tribe if you claiming to have African descendants.
No, I'm not claiming to have African descent. I'm simply saying that um, the African genetics are inside of our genetics.
Well,
Just
not my
because we
genetics,
eat
because
pork.
my kinfolk is strictly American. The only thing I have is
I understand that, but I'm saying that
yeah.
this is a boiling pot. You understand? Like, this is a like we have so many different genetics inside of our. That's why we look like so many different people. That's why you bring up the Asians. I'm telling you, this is a boiling pot full of people.
Nah, because when you're talking about people that's having pale skin straight hair, that's not a normal aboriginal thing for humans. That's more of a mutation mix, right? So when you're talking about the modern people today, the modern Asian people, those are not the real indigenous Asians. We know that people that live in these hot climate area, you see people that have more melanin in their skin, or even if it's straight or kinkier hair. We just know that there's melanated people living in all these areas, right?
Wait, what is your
So,
premise?
say it again.
What is your premise? I'm a little confused.
Are you asking where I'm trying to get at?
Uh, what are you explaining to me right now?
What I'm explaining to you is this: that when you're mentioning about someone as being mixed, you don't know exactly what they mixed with. You don't know if
That's
their
right.
parents, you don't know if their parents was being strictly only effing their own people. When y'all talk about someone being mixed, y'all gotta understand effing is involved with that. So whoever they was effing on, for them to be mixed up like that, that's on them. But I know for my people, we not mixed up like that because my people wasn't effing on anybody, okay? My grandfather was a pimp. Yeah, he had multiple women, but all the women was the same skin color in the same region as him.
Yeah, and I would say that I'm not really with the whole melting pot theory. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people and we will have some type of mixes, but you need to look into your genealogy to see exactly how it affects you. Out of like 100 plus people that I found, I probably found a couple of Europeans. The rest of them. So it's like there's two Europeans dilute 160 some odd black folk, so-called black folks. There's Indians or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have to say, in order for it to actually say that it affects your phenotype, you'd have to say, hey, either a recent mix happened within the last couple of generations, or half your tree or a third of your tree is full of YTs and Asians. Like when typically you look at these trees, we're not mixing. I don't see a lot of people mixing to a third of their whole tree. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? With a whole bunch of other people.
Hold on,
I
one
mean, this
second.
was
1 second. Hold on, we got. I want to pass the mic around. Oh, hold on. I didn't. I don't know. I was asking Jay if I invited you up. I was asking because I don't know if I accidentally did that. But what's up,
Okay.
CO?
I
We got.
saw. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was about to say I wanted to pass the mic around. We got more people on stage. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
man.
Anybody?
What's up, homie? I'm from New Zealand, and I don't. Do you know where that is?
Uh, all right. What's up?
All right. So I'm from New Zealand, and my views on well, what you said about the Pacific Ocean being hard to navigate or easy to navigate is a bunch of BS.
Explain how it's
Yeah,
being.
I mean, because I'm Maori, so I'm indigenous to the Pacific Ocean,
Mm-hmm.
to the Pacific region, and
Before we get into it,
we
what's the skin color? What's your skin color?
um I'm not black, I'm dark brown.
You dark
Nobody
brown.
nobody's black, sir. Yeah,
All right. Can
I'm
y'all
dark
let him?
brown. I'm not.
Can y'all let him land? Like, yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, so about the Pacific Ocean being easy to navigate, that's a bunch of bullshit. That was one of the hardest oceans to navigate in that time period, especially for my ancestors when we came on canoes in our waka, the Moana movie,
Mm-hmm.
all of that. That wasn't that's yeah, we might have mixed around a lot of things, but the reason why we are our color is because of the climate that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
It's warmer. Our region is warmer, and obviously our skin protects us from that. And that my point is, um, I don't see how Africans can be native to America based on what you're saying. That's just
Who's
my.
African? What Africans? Who said Africans were indigenous to America?
I don't know. I was just listening to not what you were saying, and if you I don't know. It's confusing. I can't. It's hard to speak on it. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, you might want to stick around and listen. Uh,
For you, TikTok. TikTok, I have a question for you.
Oh my bad. Yeah, go ahead.
You say you New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me anything about the Trans-Pacific Ocean trade?
The Trans-Pacific Ocean trade.
Yeah.
The Pacific Slav trade, Pacific trade.
The Trans-Pacific Ocean trade. Yes. Can you tell me about that? Oh, you have to go on Tea Time to do some research real fast. See?
all right. Anybody?
All right, go ahead, family. Cook it up.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go what he was saying about the Pacific Ocean being hard to navigate on canoes. The Atlantic Ocean, for those who fish on here, you're not going to go in a canoe across the Atlantic Ocean. That's especially during all those gyres that's all over the place. The Pacific is way more calmer than the Atlantic. The wave patterns, everything is there. It's actually it's a calm ocean. You know, I don't think, he said he's Maori, so he should. So he said so he's basically Polynesian. So he should know what the Brits did when they came over there and so forth, and how they divided.
I was like, I'm not even gonna lie. How the hell we get to this topic? I don't really like. I'm about to reset the topic. I really don't. I don't really care about talking about other parts of the world right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if folks can prove that they descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, because this is about to be yeah. I'm keeping this shit on topic.
Well, I always tell them too. I was like, just like how you said with genealogy, go trace a family member over there, trace a great aunt, somebody. I just posted a video just saying with a printout of how you can get a ticket to Ghana for $900 and go over there and go see, but don't come back and don't take the shot if you're indigenous to Africa. Don't take the yellow fever shot. You should have everything inside of you to handle Africa.
For sure. Appreciate that. Anybody wants to come up, feel free, request up. Y'all go ahead, Hezekiah. What you got to say?
Look, to each his own. I can care less what one subscribes to when it comes to, culture, whatever the case may be. The fact of the matter is this, and you can cross-reference out or do your research as you want. Africans have been coming to the Americas for over 16,000 years. We sailed the boat. We sailed with boats before anyone. We've literally navigated all over this planet, setting and establishing cultures all over this planet. But when you don't read, you get fixated on words like African instead of understanding who the people actually are. That's why I keep advocating, check that DNA before you start making claims. My grandmother told me to my face, and I'm gonna do a whole presentation on this. Oh yeah, put in Cherokee. This is what she said to me. My 82-year-old grandmother right now. I did my DNA. My DNA says resoundingly.
So what tribe in Nigeria?
Hold on. Let me go to my computer.
All right, show us how. Hold on, we already went through this with Hezekiah.
Yeah, we ain't got to go through this.
Did you find? Hold on. Did you find?
Yeah, we ain't got to.
Hold on, 1 second. 1 second. Which cousin did you find a cousin that you matched with Hezekiah in Africa?
Look, I'm gonna show you what the site says. I'm gonna show you.
We already
show
went
you what the site says, man.
Show it. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on, y'all. Yes, it is relevant. It is
not relevant.
Yes, it is. You want to know why? You want to know why it's you want to know why it's relevant? Because if you match with a cousin in Africa, that means y'all share a grandparent, Hezekiah.
That has nothing to do with anything. I got my DNA, man.
Yeah, but you can't. Hold on. Name someone that you match with in Africa right now.
I don't know anybody from. I don't know. I can't name a cousin. I know in Africa. What does that matter?
So how are you African? It matters.
What are you talking about?
So if you can,
that sounds.
It isn't stupid because you want to know why? Because you have a cousin in Africa, that means you share a grandparent, Hezekiah.
Oh shoot! It don't take a rocket scientist to know that.
So I did my family tree, right? Family tree DNA. All my people is from the South. Every single person that they said I'm a match to, that I'm a fifth cousin, fourth cousin, is all from the South and the East Coast, from Virginia all the way down to Mississippi. Not one person from Africa.
He said, I'm goofy. He's out, yo. He said,
We was laughing at him when he said he got a cousin in Nigeria.
Don't know that Nigeria is actually a recent country that was created. It was not even like we have family here that we could trace that's older than Nigeria, the founding of Nigeria.
yo, he said, what does that matter? That I'll have a cousin in Africa. I was like, if you had a cousin in Africa, it means you have an African grandparent, dummy.
Well,
Like,
first, he doesn't know what cousin means, so you know you have to recite like my aunt's daughter is my cousin, and we have the same grandma.
he matched to her. He said, I'm Nigerian. He said that shit with the most confidence ever. Like, I'm Nigerian.
That man took pride in that $90 he wasted. He wasted $90 and 2 drops of spit.
What's up, Connor? How you doing?
I'm good. How is everyone this evening? Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday.
So I was looking at this is my first time coming up. And I was looking at your prompt. Can you prove your descent? You're a descent. I can't talk. I apologize. Y'all just bear with me. You're a descendant of the slave trade. So I'm in a little bit of a unique situation. My family has traced both my father's side and my mother's side. My father is Creole, so obviously he's Black, he's French, he's indigenous peoples, so forth and so on. But our family has traced our history back genealogy wise to the country of Togo. So my people are Creole. They came from Cane River, Louisiana, or Nacogdoches. So we can trace that all the way back to Togo. Now, I did the DNA and I did have some from Togo, but it's not a very high admixture because I'm mixed as of my mother and my father. My mother, that's a whole different story. It's basically European. Okay, so ain't no point in even going there. So, but I am fortunate to know that the way that I understand it from the family's history tracing, some of my work, some of their work, everything, yes, we are part of that slave trade that came through Louisiana.
Okay. And they have, I was about to say, I mean, they do have records for it.
Absolutely.
So you found it on the Louisiana slave registries?
We did find it there. And then our family's history is also something that is, as a matter of fact, you can go online and look at it. Our family, we descend from Marie Therese Coqui out of Nacogdoches.
Wow.
Yes. So you can actually go online down to Cane River to Nacogdoches and you get the whole history, the entire story.
Also, too, you could have like when you see those records too. Some people who came from Africa could have came here for work back in the 1800s. See what they do? They'll twist the narrative and say like the people that came here for like servitude or like money, you know, came in 1800s. That's why the dates are very important. Dates are important when your people got here. And I respect that you came up here and say like, yo, listen, this is what I found in the records. Instead of just saying you took a spit test and say, oh yeah,
this is what I am. No. And it's grilled in us. We are it's very well grilled in us. As a matter of fact, the family meets up all the time. And it's funny because you go and it's like the range of color is from very, very light to passé blanc all the way to very dark skin. So we are 100% Creoles, all mixed up, all different, right? Everything's mixed up in there.
So, may I show y'all something? May I get the big screen real fast as well? I'm about to show you guys of the people that I've been working on. I worked on over 900 people in my family lineage. Excuse me. I'll be pronouncing the word long because I got a sort of like apostle accent in a sense, but y'all know what I mean, regardless. Being how I've been doing my genealogy, I'm trying to find a screenshot off my iPad. Being how I've been doing my genealogy, I had decided to take a DNA test to go a little bit deeper into it, right? To find some of my distant cousins in the islands or in the southern east of America. So when I receive my results, I already know what to expect. I told them my expectation of where I could possibly have an eye mixture with, and I put like Central America and strictly Caribbean. Um, Once I get the results, it's not gonna say that I'm gonna have a higher link to Africa. It's gonna probably say I have a higher link to Europe due to the fact that my father's last name is a Scottish last name. So when it comes to that part, you can see that your lowest percentage is the percentage that your ancestry could be, right? So for instantly, if it says that you're 5% of Indo-American in that instance, 9 times out of 10, once you do your genealogy, you're gonna see all your people coming from the Americas, strictly the Americas. So with that being said, let me find a screenshot real fast because I got a lot of pictures on my iPad, and then from there, actually I can bring myself back down until I find that shit. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna do that.
All right. Ooh, all right. What's up? We got Meta Healer, we got Naturalista on here. What it do?
What's going on?
Sissy, hey Meadow.
Peace, Moo Moo. Peace,
Hey.
peace, everybody on the Jalen, and everybody on the piano in the chat. So
For
I
sure.
came up by accident.
Uh-huh.
But if I could show a picture of my grandmother, I got one thing to say.
For sure.
Because there's no accidents. So I'm gonna share something. What is this?
No accidents at all.
You know what I'm saying? Is it messy? Why do I see a background like that? I don't even see what the hell is
Hold on.
going on.
You talking about from mine? Cause this is mine. I took a
for
screenshot.
mine.
Oh. Well, this is a screenshot for mine. I'm not gonna let nobody know my personal information or my last name because I don't need y'all looking me up, finding my people and stuff, because y'all steal people's information. So, boom. This is my current tree. This is my man's tree on the bottom. It's more than 7 people because I actually been working on this tree. So now we got like 50 people right now in this tree. But my tree right here, I have over 900 people. Right now, I have over 900 people. I got 920 because I've been working on my lineage, right? From 900 people, that's 900 people that I know on my mom's and my father's side. Then my mom's grandparents and my father's grandparents, right? So from that being said, why would I lie about anybody in my family tree that I've been working on? Okay. And then on top of that, when I get my DNA results, right, due to the fact that I have over 900 people in my family and that DNA gonna come in as me saying strictly American, that's what the fuck is gonna be. Because this is all my niggas in Virginia and North Carolina. This is my 8th grandfather right here. We have a family crest. This is some known shit right here that we do. My grandfather was born in 1750. Can anybody go back past the 1850 mark? No, I don't think so, because everybody think that in the 1850s, everybody was a slave and chained up coming from Africa. But my 8th grandparent was a whole warrior in Richmond, Virginia, clapping people. And I could go past the 1750 mark. So where's everybody receipts of their people being from these areas? Where's the receipts at? And then we got my big sis receipt. God is pulling up in the building. So yeah.
When you say receipts, are you talking about that their people weren't African, Moo?
Yeah, family. My
I'm trying to
people ain't African
understand.
at all. And I'm going past the pre-colonial time period as well. All my kinfolks still in America. I don't know why they trying to push this narrative out to think like all our people have to be from another landmass just to be something. Nah, our people got reclassified from our main heritage.
Remember,
That's
they
the
did
main
this.
reason why we don't really know so much. My fault.
They
that's
remember
why.
they did this around the whole entire world. Remember, they said that, the aliens built the pyramids, the Atlanteans disappeared. See, they use the narrative. Anybody that looks similar to us or dark, they're gonna say they disappeared, or it was somebody else, or like you know what I'm saying. And I get pissed at these pan goofies when they want to come at us, and I'm like, why don't y'all stand up for Egypt? Y'all say nothing about modern Egypt at all. Don't call any of the people out that are from there, anything.
Now,
Yeah.
can I show mines real quick? And I'm gonna hop down, y'all. I got some heavy research to do, but I'm gonna share coming up. This is my beautiful grandmother. She was born in the early 1900s. So many tribes, I can't even list them, y'all. We are so many. Okay. I just want to show one more quick one of her. This is in honor of my grandma. Yeah. They don't want me to show it. Okay, there we go. I'm in it now. That's my beautiful grandma, y'all. And I could tell you from, yes, somebody said very indigenous. Yes, from doing my genealogy. Genealogy is the number one order of the day. We need everybody to be on doing their genealogy. And if I had enough met the American Indian community on TikTok last year, early last year, hearing y'all talk about the genealogy and who we were. I have been working on my tree since 2009, but y'all really made me go and look at my tree and start working on my tree. And I can say one thing about my grandma: she was full blood. She was full blood, and that's what it says at the top of her tree. But now, as it come down, they threw her family into Creek and Seminole and all the other tribes, Cherokee, Choctaw, all that. And they threw her into freedmen. Okay, but this is what a full blood American Indian look like on this land. And I just want to share that with y'all. Y'all, please do your genealogy, everybody.
Appreciate that. What's up,
One
Receipt
ignorant
Goddess? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was saying one ignorant person said on the bottom, said, "Oh, she looks African." I'm like, so dark skin means automatically African. So people in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India who are dark. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, we trying to have an educated, talk here, and even in the comments, have educated people come here, and we always have that. Always have people that say that. So when you're speaking about, you're showing that your grandparents, that genealogy exposes a whole lot. I found out that my great uncle is Moxie Rigby of the first Negro judge of Long Island of Nassau County, and I found out that my great grandmother is buried in the same plot as my grandfather. Who are still indigenous, that even came to United States from the Caribbean. So that genealogy tells the truth. If you want to waste your time, fill out a questionnaire for entertainment purposes that you could lie on, and give away your spit, that's on you. But right now we just trying to educate people to go on it. And it's funny, you don't even have to. You could go right on ancestry.com, go look at old census record, look at your grandparents' draft card for the military. I found my grandfather and great grandfather draft card for World War II and World War One. I traced my family back to 1795. It starts getting a little bit rough when you start getting around the 1700s because the census records weren't there. But then if you go and look at other trees, a lot of our families crossed with each other, especially in the South. Like you'll see like how your family will link back up at the top and bottom. You're like, oh wow, I didn't know I was related to the Fuquas down, in the South, like or the Jenkins or the Tollivers, like those surnames are very, very important. They were used to track us, since we're very maternal. We're a matriarch people. You know, um, that's what this is a. I just appreciate this live here because everybody's just very educated.
It'd take you down some bad roads also. What bad roads? Oh, I guess if your folks is doing bad shit, I guess it'll take you down a bad road, right?
Yeah, that's and the thing is, I've never like this Africa stuff. Even me, like my great grandmother. Like you're not gonna if I say my great great grandmother's name, you're not gonna Isabella Ricardo. born in 1867. I've been in New York. My New York lineage, just in New York alone, goes back 3 or 4 generations and goes to the south and goes into the water and then comes back into into mainland America. And this is what I said. They just go by colorism because when your people don't, when you come, you have to hate when you come from a folks that never invented anything. They didn't create anything. They didn't build any cities. And so if we was all in bondage or whatever, well, how do people fresh out the joint build hospitals, banks, GPS, the doorknob? How do we almost 4,000 inventions? How do we come up with all this stuff when creativity is limited when you're in handcuffs? Right? If we're all in handcuffs, how did all this creativity? Where did it come from? Usually, the people that you come from do better than you, right? Like so, the people in China are doing very good, right? So yeah, the people of the middle of the galleons, they're not doing as good as their uh, descendants that come from that place. And we see it today. We see it all over TikTok, like where they live, how they live. They're not going to do better than the people they come from. So why didn't people in West Africa do better than us if we would have been in chains until the 1800s? Because when I look at my people, I don't see anybody that was in chains. I saw one person. He was a 3-year-old. And then, I don't have to say what was going on back then, but he was a 3-year-old. Out of 32 ancestors, it was only one person, and he was 3, a toddler. So he was from.
Yeah, my family don't remember nothing about no slavery. They said that they was clocking in so they could, they was clocking in so they can put us inside of daycare and whatnot. They don't know nothing about no shackles and whips and nothing like that.
And the thing about it, they're never going to say that how we own things and how we build. I said, because they asked, oh, where's your res card? Why are you not in camps? I said, if I own land and can feed myself and I lived in pure freedom and I had to battle or whatever it might have been for that, why would I automatically just surrender and say, you know what? Feed me canned goods. Feed me the three sisters. Feed me the 3 sisters. Feed me fried bread. Feed me that. You know what? I was making better food than them, but I will settle for less. I will settle for the scraps. No, that doesn't make any sense. You put migrants in camps. Okay?
Oh, my fault.
Come up here, DJ Flacco.
They think, man, it is too. We got too much technology to be saying that everybody that's dark is from Africa. That is crazy. Like we have electronic books. We have books. I can go to Columbia University, the website, and go read. Like, I just don't understand. If this was 1991, I get it because we didn't have internet, we didn't have we don't have Kindle, none of that. But people are still think that dark skin and having a certain phenotype is only specific to one continent. That's crazy. Like, and these are adults. These are not even children.
Right.
Like I'm 38 this year, and I cannot believe that people are almost 40 years old saying this type of stuff. I'm like, I posted a whole video about people from Papua New Guinea, New Caledonia, Vanuatu. I say, hey, there's more people that look similar to me around the world. Hey, look, like I think we need to bring back like PBS, like post things from PBS about geography, like Carmen San Diego, stuff like that. Because these people, like they level of thinking. I don't know if it's the chemicals in the food, the Popeyes. I don't know what it is.
For sure. Oh man, we got David up here. What's up, David?
Hey, how's everybody tonight?
Doing all right. What you got for us? What's your thoughts on the title? The question at top.
Man, my question, well, my answer is to that. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I just want to know, every walk of human life on this planet, you will have some amount of African proven to be in you. I'm talking about every walk, not just black. Every walk of life on this planet have a trait of African in them. And now, can you trace your family back to slavery? No, it would be impossible to do that. And the reason why? Because it never was slavery in America the way we was taught in school. We never came over here by ships. We never came over here with shackles and chains. All of that stuff was made up for good TV shows, if I can put it that way. But if you go back through science, you will see that there is black in everybody, every human race, even the YT race. So when you say that black covered all four corners of the globe, you are absolutely right. We did. And everything that came after that came from an atmosphere of not slavery, of Africa. And
David.
and the way that happened is, okay, and the way that happened is, okay, we didn't come over here on ships. How did we get here? We came here through the continental drift. I said it over and over and over. And when everything broke away, everything settled, it were black people on no land, man. Nobody else. And that everybody wants to say they Native America. If
And I'm
you
gonna
look at if you look at if you
David,
look
as long
at
as you don't say you from Arkansas, you can be wherever you want to be from.
I am from Arkansas.
Uh-oh.
Oh
You
no.
explain you, buddy. No, no.
Now,
We tore your stuff up.
David,
You're not
David,
from
you
here. We
listen,
told you, we bought it up, we burnt it, we threw it away. No.
David,
Okay,
you an
now,
elder, and I'm gonna respect you as an elder.
just a second. I want to address the young lady who showed her black, beautiful grandmother and how dark she was, and that could pretty well be. And you know what? She could pretty well be full-blooded native.
Lady came up here and told you that that lady is a Indian. Why are you trying to
That's
turn
what
her
I'm
into an
saying.
African?
That's
She
what.
was speaking about
Wait,
her bloodline.
wait,
She told you that that lady is an Indian. And you said
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything against that because according to history, she is an Indian. But here's the thing: when the YT man came over here and saw us,
oh my God.
here,
Oh my
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Let me finish. When the YT man first came over here, first.
Take your meds and go to bed.
What you said the fuck up.
No, he's
Now,
still our elder, though. Right? Let him.
and let me
Ron,
finish.
please. Yeah, let's let him finish.
Okay,
My
now.
elder, we the same. We almost the same age. I'm gonna get right with you 10 toes, partner.
Okay, now. Okay, now. The reason that her aunt, her grandmother, could be full-blooded Indian is because the first civilized tribe that was noticed in America, the Cherokee, the Choctaw,
All civilized
the
tribes
Seminole.
are federal entities. All 574 of them are fraudulent.
So, just let me finish. I'm almost done.
Now let him cook. Let him cook.
The first
Started.
the first group of Indians that was known in America was the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Seminole.
Oh my God, I have an echo.
And those people in that time, they were or African descent, but they were African descent. They were African descent.
Hold on. Let him finish because we're going to
African descent through evolving. They were African descent through evolving over millions of years to get where we are today.
So let me ask you something about Africa, right? So hold on.
Wait a minute. Let me say something for a second. David, you can't talk about everybody as a collective. We had this conversation before. I don't know why you keep doing that. You cannot tell people what their lineage is. And then for you to disrespect that woman that was showing her grandmother, right? Don't do that. And she not up here. David.
The young lady said that she was
David,
a full-blooded
she
native.
said, right.
And
So
I
do not
agree to that.
David,
Because
I
back
heard
in
what
that
you said,
time,
but don't overtalk me, David. I don't want to have to mute you. We had this conversation before. We're gonna keep going on. I'm gonna go ahead and let the brother speak, but stop doing that, because everybody ain't we.
And the thing is, you're absolutely correct, Rasheed. Just for David, Let me ask you a question. So when you say about the white tea man, you're still taking excerpts of Darwin theory and Herkovitz theory of out of this for their lack of understanding. Remember, when they came here, they made a comparison to us for what they saw here to people across the water. Now let me ask you a question. In Africa, a lot of parts of Africa were desolate back then. Like the West was definitely were. A lot of people who are from the West came from the East. Some people that you would call an African are really they're originally from Asia. People have it's always changed that continent, and people have always shifted. So even if you talk about Pangea, um, see the thing about the term Africa it wasn't even around. If you're going to go thousands of years back, it wasn't even that's something the Greeks created. So if you're talking about Pangea, that can be up for debate. Pangea with the spread everywhere, but even if it was every corner of Pangea and you saw dark people, Europeans are not just light colored people from Africa. That's a very lazy, intellectual, lazy
Okay, but the
thesis.
thing, I didn't mean to cut you, but the thing of it is, there was no such thing as Pangea.
Cut him off.
Pangea was only a theory, but the whole continent,
Africa is a theory, David.
the whole continent at that time was called Earth. And then over millions of years,
You speed right past the truth and keep
over
lying.
millions of, over
All right,
millions of years,
So David,
the continent took on different names.
no, I got you, but but repeat this, right? So we just talked about Pangea. We talked about the spread. You're still talking about out Africa. Now the problem with that theory is this: I'm about to post a video today about how the Yoruba came and visited us here in America, and on their vases, their clay vases have maize all around it. There's actually Yoruba people that actually have vases there. So that is saying back in 1100 AD, they actually came here and got food. So a lot of their food is our food from over here. They met us over here. So when you say this Africa stuff, you have to understand our crops, our animals, everything here is older than over there. The oldest blood type that they found here, like for instance, it's talking about old blood types. My mother's A negative, okay, that is very rare and very, very old. I'm O positive. So when you talk about old, our pyramids are older. Our customs are here. People follow culture-wise, our energy. People follow the first. The first does not follow the last. The last follows the first. Okay. There's a reason why we're the most copied people on in the planet. And there's a reason why everybody wants to come to this landmass because we are the people of this landmass in the most copy in the most place that people want to be. And it has always been that way. You could talk about the Pacific. People from Pacific came here. People from Europe came here, and not just with before the way before the 1400s. You could talk about the Irish, the Vikings. There were people coming to this landmass for millennia. So when you told us out of Africa stuff, you're still quoting the white T man and his out of Africa theory for his lack of understanding. He classified us like God, like 10 explorers, De Soto, Cortez, Barazano, they described us and compared us to the Ethiopians. Now remember, the Atlantic Ocean was not called the Atlantic Ocean back; it was the Ethiopian Ocean. Okay, I just say it like this: if Atlantis is between here and Africa, what did the Atlanteans look like? And we're on the same we're on the same equator, right? Don't you think that you will look similar to someone across the street? Nature, we're all aspects of nature. It mirrors each other in reverse. We've always been here. So when you talk about, you say, well, the woman that showed her great grandmother, her grandmother, don't even second guess it. If she's full blooded, she's full blooded. There should be no asterisk. Well, back then her people was African at the very, very beginning. That's being dismissive. That's being disrespectful. People will tell you what they are.
I think that he's getting more at the melting pot instead of the out of Africa theory.
No, I understand what he's saying, but he's using.
Hey, you said you think you're doing what?
Do you know about the melting pot?
What about the melting pot?
Of the
I
Americas?
think that he's just. I think that he's just saying that.
Well, I would say I don't think it's a melting pot.
But
He's
hold on,
still going off of Darwinism.
I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know what he means. I'm trying to help brother out.
You can't say, listen, for everybody who's melanated on Earth, you cannot see this is what white tea do, and this is what the fried breads do. I'm not, you know what I'm talking about. The fried breads. This is what the fried breads do. They lump everybody who is dark on the planet and they create a giant monolith from one part of a continent and put them there and say, well, you look that way, so you must be from here. And everybody who's diverse is lighter with straight hair. That's been the narrative that's been going on for hundreds of years. They have been using us. They will never tell us that we're the majority. They will never tell us that we're the dominant. They can never tell us that. They're going to tell us that we're from a monolith and we're inbred, and our first direct descendant is from a chimpanzee, which they like to use. They say, well, these people want to be first so bad, so let's say they're first descendant of a chimp, the least evolved, and then they evolved to lighter people with bigger heads. This is stuff our grandmothers told us when they started teaching that in school. They started teaching Darwin in the school in the early 1900s. This is why you must respect your elders. And David, you are one of our elders, but you are very misinformed. We have elders that have been telling us this. Our grandmothers in the South, okay? Sister is
Okay. Let me say.
They've been telling
Let me
about
say
this
this right
Darwin
quick.
shit for a long
I
time.
said. Wait, hold on. I sent you to the young man I was just talking because you do talk with real good sense, but unfortunately, your good sense was taught to you wrong. I
Nigga,
sent you.
stop playing
I
in our
sent
face.
you a friend. Wait, hold on. I
David
sent you a friend
sound
request.
just like
I'm
an
finna
Uncle
tell you what
David
really
sound
pisses me off
like
about
a
you,
typical
David.
Uncle
What pisses me off
Tom,
about you
because he Uncle
is
Tom.
Arkansas is nothing but Indians. This place was a swamp. We came and dug the bayous and the creeks. And when the water receded, it was diamonds and gold and silver and quartz and copper laying everywhere. And then all of a sudden they wanted it back. So the Osage, the Caddo, the Chickasaw, and the Tunicans is who built Arkansas. So if you got roots in Arkansas, you are a Indian, idiot.
And sister is spitting 100% facts. First off, these people that they want to call indigenous. First off, you're not digging in those swamps without getting head lice. So we don't get head lice. We don't get head lice or none of that stuff. They're not built for that environment. Those swamps down there. They're not built for the Ogeechee River. They're not built for the other rivers that branch out, that go into Arkansas, Tennessee Valley, Mississippi Valley. If you look at the Mississippi River, they split into 7 streams. If you want to talk about Nile River, but that's another story. Listen, they're not going there digging anything. These people are not fit. They're not very athletic. They're not robust, okay? Verrazano came here, David. You say I got sense? I'm going to give you some sense, too. I'm going to add. I'm going to donate to you. So when Verrazano came here, he described, if you look at me, I'm 6'1", about a little bit over 200 pounds. I am very robust. He saw me with my big black eyes, very proportionate in every part of my being, and swift, cunning, agile. If people who saw me box or move, I'm 38 years old this year, and I move better than a lot of these people that call us pretendians that are in their 20s.
Man, what the fuck are you talking about?
Giovanni Dave Arizona, that's what I'm talking about. This is who they describe. I'm going with sister saying that we dug out those bayous because we're built for the swamps and the environment down there. Not the people that y'all want to call native down here with stringy hair that is a bed for head lice. If you go to South America, a lot of those foreigners that come there, that's a problem they have is lice.
Okay. But do you know the reason
No, we do not know nothing. No.
Do you know the reason why black people don't get lice?
David, I'm gonna tell you something else that pisses me off. Listen to me and listen to me carefully.
Black people do not.
You
Let
explain
me
to
tell
me
you why black people
how
don't
do
get
I
lice.
have a deed
Black people do
that
not get
says
lice.
my family owns land in perpetuity, sir, in Arkansas. Explain that to me if I'm from fucking Africa.
You got papers.
I am a direct bloodline. My grandparents, my grandmother is Osage, my grandfather is Quapaw related to Saracen, the Quapaw chief of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Noble Lake, Wabasika.
I think David is Jesse
You
Lee
are a
Peterson.
disgrace.
He's Jesse Lee Peterson. This is Jesse Lee Peterson on here on TikTok. He's definitely Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. Yeah, you
Man, David is a straight Uncle
Okay, but let me
Tom.
say this right quick.
No.
Nah, he a straight Uncle
black
Tom.
people don't
You
get
being a
lice?
Tom, David.
Okay,
It's people just as old as
Uncle
you
Tom
or
was a
close
great
enough
man.
to your age
Hold
that
on, one
will
mic,
tell
y'all.
you
One mic.
straight to
Hold
your
on, one
face.
mic.
You being
One
a
mic.
Uncle
One
Tom.
mic. One mic. One mic. One
Okay,
mic.
let me say this. The reason black people do not get lice and the white people
Oh my
do,
God.
it is the black people keep their hair in scalp oil, and lice do not like.
David.
All
David.
times. That's it. You fix. You got to be.
David, you gotta stop looking at the history and the skin complexion. Because who is really the color of the background to this whole life?
Who's that color? Nobody on this panel.
Nobody.
Nobody
That's
you
what
know
I'm
or
trying
I
to
know,
say.
right? So let's just stop doing that. All right.
So
Race
that's
is
the
not the
reason
same thing as colorism. And see, this is the reason why, I don't have the patience, you know what I'm saying? Other people do have the patience, you know what I'm saying, but other people want to talk too. Like
Yeah, let's
we
pass
want
the
to
mic
build.
around.
We ain't got time to be going
Yeah,
back and forth with you with that bullshit.
true. Yeah, we got more people on the stage. We got O's, we got the Magnificent. Yeah.
Somebody else to come take my place, they can't. I came up here specifically
Somebody
for
did
that.
request.
He was gonna come with the fugazi.
All right, so all right, cool. Yeah, somebody is in the request. Cool. All right, I got you, Dave. Colin wants to come back up.
I keep explaining to people that Africa is a multiracial continent, but these people still on a fifth grade level of geography.
Africa was made up from 1945 to 1960. That's why they call it member states. That's what they call the Year of Africa, 1960. We ain't finna do that. You know what I'm saying? There's people out here who's been responsible for placing our history into an African context. Look up the year when an African context or literature was actually created. That shit is so 1900. I'm tired of this shit.
It's actually called the Africanization of the American Negro.
What is
look that up?
First off, what is a Bantu? You're taking a whole half a continent and mushing
something made up
40 tribes together. That's something made up. That's like saying I'm going to Asia and putting Japanese, Koreans, people from Thailand, Mongolia, and Sri Lanka together and saying and making up a name. Like y'all guys are just
Bantu is a German word. It means humankind or mankind, something like that.
Yeah, like
okay.
On top of that, over here in America, we got buildings. Then on top of that, over here in America, we got buildings that's older than some of the knowledge that David been trying to talk about. Like they just now came up with DNA in like the 80s. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't doing forensic science and stuff like that in the 70s. So like David, like bro, like for you to think that everybody out of Africa, you sound like the people who was making them conspiracy magazines back in the day.
Out of Africa, that's and that's again, that's intellectual laziness that the people who came here and during colonial days said, you know what, I don't need to get to know them. Just get the work done. You're all African. You're all dark. Like these people, you think that they're gonna tell you the truth? Like I told one person, I said, okay, so they lied and said that you guys are from across the ice, but told the truth in the same book that we're from Africa. Make it make sense. Are they telling the truth or are they lying? Because I believe half truth is a lie still.
What I'm trying to figure out is how can you tell me what I am or anybody else up on this panel where they are, where they from? Okay. You haven't done the research. Okay. And I get it. There was a time, and I'm older, there was a time where it was the being proud to be black and it was the African heritage and da 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 da. I get that. But we are so mixed in this country. Don't tell me where I came from, especially when I can prove it in paper and in my DNA. Even and let's just stop. I won't even worry about DNA. To your point, I believe that was the Madge. I can't read your name. I apologize. To your point, DNA just got here. Okay. But when I can prove it in documentation, don't tell me where I came from. And why don't you check where you came from? You may be pleasantly surprised.
You're 100% right.
Everybody want us to take a DNA test, but nobody asking these natives or anybody else. They're not even natives. They actually self-identify as that. Because I know the real name that they had coming over here, and that shit crazy.
If the DNA test was solid, you know what they get their DNA? Dun, 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 dun. That's what they would do.
Even with the DNA, they don't use their saliva. They go into the records.
Oh,
yeah. They basically pinpointing where they. Go ahead.
They'd be like, "Oh, well, tribes don't take DNA tests. We don't have to." I said, "Oh, you want us to do it when we claim that we're the same, we're from here, but you don't want to do it. You know why you don't want to do it? Because you know what's going to come up. Because they're gonna back the Barren Strait theory with that because they use the markers for the Barren Strait. They use it, the Inuits, the Siberians, because that's the theory behind it. If they got this DNA so down packed, why they can't figure out diabetes, cancers, and all these genetic issues if the DNA is so advanced?
I don't even believe the part about the tribes neither, because they've been going over there doing all of that swabbing over there with different tribes because folks done seen stuff there. So I don't know, y'all.
We can't tell you who you
Gotta
are.
look up. Hold on, let me say this real quick. We gotta look up. I mean, not we. Oh Lord, I hate using that word. They need to go ahead and tell the truth about the Arab slave trade, because that's where they come from. They're the Maghreb. They're Moroccans. Before, like I keep telling people, I have the proof. Before they was wearing feathers and shit, and they was wearing turbans and hijabs.
Absolutely.
Fezzes and shit. So my whole thing is, when you think about that, who has the longest lasting treaty?
The Moroccans. And that's a French colony.
Bro, you gotta let me finish, but go ahead.
No, my bad. I was gonna say, just the French colony. That's where the Senecas was influenced by the French. Like I was saying, our boy Joya that be on here, he's Seneca, so he's very French.
Go ahead, Receipt.
Y'all go ahead. Talk to my daughter real quick.
Oh.
So yeah, nobody can tell you who you are. You know,
that's right.
You showing the tree, and somebody's still gonna sit up here and tell you that that can't be true. Nah, your tree ain't right. You're going back to the 1700s, still showing people who you are and where you come from, and then somebody's still gonna come up here. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just like cognitive dissonance, right? It's like people see the truth and still say it's a lie, and that's how it's the downfall of society. That's what I see it as. I mean,
you know what? It's way deeper than that. Because what these people doing, a lot of my people don't know that they're getting paid for that. So they will never ever admit the truth. They get paid to come on these panels and do the rhetoric. They get paid to keep regurgitating the same bullshit. They get paid for this. Pan-Africans get paid. Pan-Africans got so many businesses and companies, especially with the reservations. These people know exactly where they are picking up, is importing and exporting right off of this goddamn continent. Just like right now, if y'all haven't seen these videos talking about, oh, all of these cargo ships came empty. What are we gonna do? Oh, we're gonna starve. First of all, it has always been like that, motherfucker. We have always been the biggest exporter in the fucking world. We still export everything: watermelon, fucking coconuts, all that, gold, diamonds. So my whole thing is this. I understand we all been lied to. This is the time that people need to just go ahead and even don't listen to me. I'm not no teacher. Please start getting uncomfortable with people teaching you their own fucking rhetoric. Because as long as these people have control over what the fuck they want to call you, what you think that's gonna do? Keep benefiting them. See, these people really don't have no power. Now, it's good to talk about the past and how they were able to do what they have done. But when you realize the only way you will not repeat history is when the truth come out. So now that we know who we are, we have to stand 10 toes down on that. That puts them out of position. Us telling the truth exposes who the fuck they is. And they've been crashing out lately.
Yo, that's a fact. Receipt. You know, I work in the subway, right? So remember, I posted that the flyer from the company. They posted it on every station. It's multiple stations. Like I thought it was just one station. Yo, it's everywhere with the with us. I'm not gonna even say BLK Indians. I'm not gonna say none of that. I'm just gonna say us. And it was clear as day with the turtle, with the train on back of it and everything. Like, this is how much the truth was getting out here when they're like, yo, listen, there's too many tens of thousands of people waking up at per month, per day. You know, we gotta, either they're gonna, like, listen, I don't think this president doesn't care nothing about us. But again, a lot of these people that's high up there, they believe in universal karma. They know that they can't stop the awakening that's happening. Man, this is the first time in my life I've ever seen youth under 18 years old in our community reading, like studying, like on their own, that has nothing to do with school. Like the programming is like it's like a glitch. It's like the programming is done. It's not lasting. It's breaking up. So again, they're gonna be upset. Uh,
And receipt back to what you were saying about the paying goofies. They are paid. There's an older guy here. Of course,
is that